Great. So this is Diego from Junar, and I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. Great being here. As mentioned, my name is Diego. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Junar. And we are a Series A funded company that launched last month in the Launch Conference. We believe at Junar that there are a lot of websites in the web, a lot of sites that contain data in tables like this one. You might have heard, and this weekend there was an event called the Data 2.0 conference, that there's a data deluge, a lot of data coming into the web, a lot of data.gov, a lot of data sets coming along. Factual raised $25 million about 6 months ago. So there's a lot of movement around data in the web, right? Now, say that you are a blogger, or you want to tweet something about the mobile industry, right? You know that you probably can go to Google and try to find that data. So you do that, and what you find is that Google gives you a lot of links that take you to great content. Most of the times, Google, even if you typed mobile data, what you get is a lot of content, a lot of pages that may have some data. So it will take you time to find the data. If you're lucky enough to find some data, the best you can probably do is copy-paste that data into the document you're working on. Then there's another issue, right? Data never sleeps. The nature of data is that it evolves. So if you want to keep track of the data that you found, the best you can do is bookmark the site, and then, or if it has an RSS, and then go every once and then to the site. But you will not have the updates of the data that you need. We at Junar think that there should be a better way, right? So what we did is create something through which you can go and do searches. In this particular case, we do the same search, mobile data, and what you find is a lot of links that take you directly to data. If you click on one of these, for example, what you find is that a user there, in this case, Beto Guess, created a data stream that is coming from this source here. So he found out something that was compelling in the web, created very easily with our tool one of these data streams, which now can be used by anybody in the community. If you as a blogger found that this is an interesting piece of data, then what you can do is add this to your dashboard. And a dashboard is not more than a compilation of all the data streams that in this particular case, for example, we are having together about the mobile industry, right? So you might have some data streams that come from different places in the web, and then you are able to use that in different ways. Now, the other thing that we offer is, if you're trying to find information about the mobile industry, you can try to find out if someone in this community has created one of these dashboards that may be of help for you. In this particular case, Malik has something, a piece of data, a dashboard with a lot of data, and you can, in the same way as you follow Malik in Twitter, you can follow the data that he's publishing. The other thing that you can do is, if you have a site where you usually go and gather some data, we allow you to very easily create one of these data streams, either by picking the column, the row, the full table if you want. Then you give a name, a description, and some tags. And by that, you are kind of curating this data that then is easy to digest by someone else. So you created this. Now there's a new data stream in this catalog that anybody can pick and use. So we allowed you, as a blogger that is trying to find data, to get a lot of data in, right? To find a lot of data from the web in different ways. We also make it easy for you to use this data in different ways. Number one, you can export that to Excel. Coming very soon, the Junar platform will allow to bring all these updates that are happening in the websites for this data into your Excel, into your PowerPoint or other applications. We also allow you to share that in any way you want, so Facebook, the usual suspects. And we also make it easy for you to put that into your blog if you want. So here you have your blog post with the data, and you know that if you add some data to either your tweet or your blog post, it gets more traction, more people might like what you're saying, right? So that's basically it as for the demo. We think that the web that we have been using up to now was the content web. Now we think there's kind of a content web and a data web. For the content web, there are the Googles, the Wikipedias, the RSS technologies that make it easy for you to discover content. We at Junar are making it very easy for you to discover and use data. That's basically.
Great. Thank you. Questions for Junar?
Very good question. So our approach here is one similar to the Wikipedia approach in the sense that we offer the user that is looking for this data the possibility of finding data streams that people have created and then checking the sources. So as I showed there, you can always check what's the source for that. And then you can decide, do I trust the source? Do I trust the user that has ratings and everything? And use that as you want. So first phase is mapping the data that is in the web. Then we're going to be able to map some data that some people create specifically for that. So it has a big crowdsourcing component. Of course, we're kickstarting that by going to different sources and finding a lot of interesting data streams around certain topics. But yeah, the idea of this
Someone has to take your
yep, it is a crowdsourcing approach. So we can kickstart that and have something of real value for some verticals. But if this is going to scale a lot, it's going to be because there's a lot of people adding data streams. And then we can discuss what are the incentives that we are generating for people to try to go and do those things, right? Whenever you do searches, you can either, it can be complicated, or you might end up in a huge data set. So the idea here is you can find something that has been pre-digested by somebody else, right? So that's kind of, yeah, so the question was, there's the Wolfram Alphas of the world, there's Factual, there's InfoChimps, there's some other players that are trying to do a lot, Microsoft and Google. So what do we do different, right? There's a lot of companies, and I saw all of them, I guess, in this event during this weekend, that are trying to bring a lot of these huge data sets and try to then sell these data sets. Most of them are focused, not the case of Wolfram, but most of them are focused on selling to the developer that then wants to do applications with that. In our case, we are a consumer play. We're going directly to consumer, to some specific verticals. We are doing this pre-digestion of the data that you find. So if you go to some of these services, you end up facing these huge data sets that then you need to start surfing to make sense out of that. We allow you to have something that is already kind of curated, or someone made sense out of this data, and then you can use that data as you want. So that's one of the things. There are some other things that we can discuss. There was a question over here.
I guess the extension of this, so can data providers push data to you, or someone has to build it, and is there a crawling component at all to your search engine? Or
So we do some, the question was if there's any kind of automatization crawling component here, or if we can bring data from some providers, right, if I understood correctly. Yeah, we do a lot of automation here. We still have some stuff that is not automated because that's why this didn't exist before. We need some effort to be able to make sense out of all the data, but we have a lot of parts automated. And yes, we are talking to a lot of people that want to publish their data. There's a lot of cases where there's a lot of institutions, from governments to academic institutions, that have a lot of data. They would like to share that data, and they're looking for a platform. So yes, we are connecting with a lot of those sources and getting all that interesting data curated, digested, and then available for the market.
Do you support alerts, filters, and calculations?
So my partner is a data geek, and he, of course, the CTO, and he wants to do a lot of things. And we have a roadmap full of things that we want to start adding, from mashups of some of these data streams to make sense and to make more sense of the data, to visualization, to alerts when something changes and you want to be aware of, I don't know, something that earthquakes or whatever, you want to know the alerts. Yeah, we are bringing a lot of those things in next releases.
Do you have tools for checking the integrity of the data? Because you could have layers and layers for cracks. The bottom layer is full of garbage. Unless you drill all the way down, you're not going to know.
Great. So that's kind of one of the things that differentiates us, right? With the problem that we, of course, are leveraging on the crowd to make this happen. But there's a lot of data out there. There's a lot of websites that may contain a lot of data. There's a lot of companies that provide you data sets. What we do is we come in there, or we allow the community to come in there and make sense out of all that data. So with the right incentives for people to go there, and we have some of them, then whatever you find in Junar is data that might have been huge data sets that by themselves would have been difficult to make sense of. But someone found something because they were interested in that. They created this data stream because it serves their purpose, and now it's available for other people. So we're kind of making sense out of sometimes data sets that are very complex or very difficult to use. I don't know if I answered.
Not quite, because, I mean,
Now,
few things.
now I get it. I think I get the question also. So there's an addition process, right? There's going to be a lot of crap coming in, of course, similar to Wikipedia. There's a lot of people that might go there and try to edit things in a kind of making harm of what's going on in that community. So we have an addition process through which if someone has been creating garbage out of garbage or whatever, then we can, there's a rating process, there's a wink process, and through that we have an addition team that can take out some stuff or ask to take out some stuff and change some stuff if needed. I don't know if that's getting closer to the answer.
Well, sir, I like.
But one comment there, and then I go to another, is we always offer the source. So we never, even if there's a data stream that someone made sense of, a huge data set, we always say, where is that coming from, what's the source, and all the data. So if you want to go further than just the data stream, you can go and check the source. So I don't know if there's any, we can continue this. Fantastic question, and it's a question that we get asked a lot of times, right? Do you want to go and conquer the whole world with data and try to offer data to anybody? We would love to, and we think that that's the long-term vision, because there's a need for data and pre-digested data, but we cannot start with everything. So we're going after the people that really is accustomed to using data and need data. So from young analysts to journalists to sports fans, there's some subgroups in the whole world that are accustomed to using data, love data, and we're going after them first. For example, there are some bloggers that love blogging and tweeting about a lot of different things. If these guys get the right data to make more sense out of their tweets, we know that sometimes a lot of people tweet a lot of stuff, but not a lot of content there. So if we are able to help them, then they are going to be marketing for what we're doing, and they're going to be showing this platform. So yeah, we have 3 specific verticals or groups we're going after first. We should serve them well. And the other thing I want to add is we've been getting a lot of users getting accounts, and we're getting a lot of feedback. These days what we say is, if you couldn't find the data that you wanted in Junar, of course we're still growing, let us know what data you need, and then we can somehow find the sources, create some data streams. So we're getting a lot of feedback from users, what they want, what they need, what they want to see in our catalog.
Time for one more.
And there's a lot of data for sale out there, too. You want to part of that?
Actually, so nobody asks how are we going to make money. I thought that in Silicon Valley I was going to get that question. No, but so there's a lot of people selling data, and no, we don't want money. We don't want to sell anything. Now, basically, we are going to offer a lot of people, a lot of institutions, a lot of people that create interesting data streams to distribute some of that. And whenever there are transactions through the platform, we get a fee. So that's one of the ways. And yeah, you nailed it.
Short answer is yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes. And then there's some others, like from advertising to premium subscriptions, other ways of monetizing this.
Great. Thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
I spent the first portion of my career as a financial analyst of sorts with a consulting firm, and I just want to say, like, I had a lot of data needs, always looking for additional sources, always trying to track different statistics about market sizing, different populations. And so when we saw Junar, it was really exciting because, trust me, you can spend uncomfortable amounts of time trying to find that information. You already generally know, when you're in that field, you know the quality of a lot of the relative sources, but it's still difficult to track some of that down. And so Junar definitely taps the pain point there for a certain type of market researcher.